In Revelation chapter 12, God reveals a vision of Jesus Christ to John, conveying what is to come. John is the recipient of this revelation. This book contains enigmatic prophecies about future events, warning that the world will inevitably come to an end, leading to judgment. It offers a glimpse of paradise and the splendors that await us. Revelation chapter 12 verse 1, from the Amplified Bible, presents a significant heavenly sign: a woman clothed with the sun, the moon beneath her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. This is the first of 7 signs in John's vision, which collectively introduce the Great Tribulation events described in Revelation chapter 12, 13, and 14. The woman symbolizes various religious concepts throughout history, but Joseph's dream links her to Israel. Other passages in the Old Testament also depict Israel, Zion, or Jerusalem as a woman. The woman in Revelation chapter 12 gives birth, and a powerful dragon appears, representing Satan. The dragon's description symbolically conveys his fierce power and evil nature. The woman's labor pains symbolize the suffering and purification of the physical nation of Israel, leading to the birth of the Messiah. The woman then flees to a place prepared by God for protection for a specific period of time, symbolizing the spiritual preservation of God's people during times of distress and persecution. A heavenly battle ensues, led by the archangel Michael against the dragon and his angels. Satan's primary weapon is accusation, but through Christ's victory on the cross, believers overcome the accuser's attacks. Satan is cast down to earth, knowing his time is running out. Satan's focus shifts to the woman and her offspring, and he wages war against them. The woman is given the means to escape, and the earth intervenes to thwart the dragon's efforts. Satan's anger intensifies, and he turns his attention to those who keep God's commandments and testify to Jesus. This chapter provides a time frame for these events, and it underscores Satan's relentless attempts to thwart God's plan, particularly targeting believers who follow God's commandments and testify to Jesus. In this cosmic struggle between good and evil depicted in Revelation chapter 12, we see the unfolding drama of redemption and spiritual warfare. The imagery and symbolism in this chapter offer a vivid portrayal of God's ultimate victory over Satan and the forces of darkness. The woman's flight to the wilderness, symbolizing God's provision and protection, echoes the biblical narrative of how God delivered the Israelites from bondage in Egypt and led them to safety on eagle's wings. This imagery reminds us of God's faithfulness and his willingness to safeguard his faithful followers in times of tribulation. Satan's frustration and rage are evident as he fails to destroy the woman, her child, representing Christ, and those who remain faithful to God. His defeat in the heavenly battle and his inability to annihilate God's chosen people intensify his wrath. As a result, he redirects his efforts toward the remaining offspring, those who uphold God's commandments and bear witness to Jesus. The ongoing conflict between good and evil, as portrayed in Revelation chapter 12, underscores the spiritual warfare that continues throughout human history. It serves as a stark reminder that believers are engaged in a battle not against flesh and blood but against the spiritual forces of darkness. Through faith in Christ and obedience to God's commandments, we can overcome the accuser's attacks, just as Christ's victory on the cross has already defeated the power of sin and Satan. The narrative in Revelation chapter 12 ultimately points to the hope and assurance that believers have in Christ. Despite the intense spiritual warfare, God's protection and sovereignty prevail. This chapter serves as a reminder that the ultimate victory belongs to God and his faithful followers, and it reinforces the importance of unwavering faith, obedience to his commandments, and testimony to the redemptive power of Jesus Christ in the face of adversity. As the book of Revelation unfolds, it will continue to provide a deeper understanding of the spiritual realities and the ultimate triumph of God's plan for humanity, even in the face of great tribulation and opposition. In the subsequent chapters of Revelation, we witness the further development of God's divine plan, the unfolding of prophetic events, and the ultimate resolution of the spiritual battle. Revelation chapter 13, for instance, introduces us to 2 prominent figures: the beast from the sea and the beast from the earth. The beast from the sea is often interpreted as a symbol of political and worldly power, driven by the influence of Satan. It exemplifies oppressive and blasphemous regimes that oppose the worship of God and persecute the followers of Christ. This beast, with its 7 heads and 10 horns, represents a global and multifaceted manifestation of opposition to God's kingdom. The second beast, which arises from the earth, functions as a false prophet. This entity supports the authority of the first beast and enforces its deceptive practices, including the worship of the first beast. It utilizes miraculous signs and wonders to deceive people, reinforcing the notion of a counterfeit religious system. As the narrative progresses, Revelation unveils the final outcome of this cosmic battle. In Revelation chapter 19, we witness the triumphant return of Jesus Christ as the conquering king, leading the armies of heaven to defeat the forces of evil. His robe is dipped in blood, symbolizing the victory he achieved through his sacrificial death on the cross. Revelation chapter 20 provides insight into the binding of Satan and the establishment of Christ's millennial reign, a period of 1,000 years of peace and righteousness on earth. During this time, the influence of evil is curtailed, and the righteous are vindicated. The final chapters of Revelation describe the ultimate destiny of believers. In Revelation chapter 21 and 22, we find a vision of the new heaven and the new earth, symbolizing the ultimate fulfillment of God's promises. This new creation is marked by the absence of sorrow, death, and sin, and it represents eternal communion with God for those who have remained faithful. In conclusion, the book of Revelation provides a panoramic view of the cosmic conflict between good and evil, the victory of Christ, and the ultimate triumph of God's redemptive plan. It reassures believers that, despite the trials and tribulations they may face, God's sovereignty and faithfulness will prevail, culminating in a glorious and eternal future for His people.